I've just come in, step on the boat. It has been raining incessantly for about 2 weeks. I didn't get down here last weekend because of the rain, and we've got a break in the rain, and it's going to start again this evening and just rain for another week. The whole of the land is waterlogged, and I've just stepped on. It's still icy, and the first thing I always do is to check the bilge. I don't know if you can see here, but as soon as I did, I just lifted and just saw this horror. So the bilge pump is underwater there somewhere. Bilge clearly isn't working. And then I just ran to the front of the boat here to look in this part of where the batteries are, and you can see the water pump, which I haven't connected up yet, is underwater. The batteries are floating in the water. That is not good at all. Good job I came down here today, because if I didn't... There's more water there. Why is that bubbling? Why is that bubbling? Why is that bubbling? I wonder whether... I think it's either a hole in the boat, or I think there's a connecting pipe between that little fiberglass there. I think stopped. I think that's what it is. I'll have to check. Oh hell. So is this bilge working? It hasn't made a noise since I've got here, and it clearly isn't. So there's power to this. It made a little faint noise. It makes a momentary, unless the water's frozen. Right, priority is to take that bilge pump out of the water, and that's water's freezing, and see if we've got power to it. Yeah, that's the first thing. That's the priority. I'll update you on what's happening in my life after that. Oh, hell. Right, I'm going to let you free run from there, and I'm going to have to... I'm not going to be taking a lot of notice of what I'm filming, because if it is pump is broken, then I'll need to get to the Christ. Oh, fuck. I'll need to get to the Chandler's quickly to buy a new one. Although I did, if you heard, you wouldn't have heard, but when I just had a look or made onto auto, it did try. So from memory, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just about. Water pump is here. Why isn't it pumping? There's the pipe. So we've got power to the pump and then the pipe. So I think the first thing to try is to see if I can disconnect the... from the helicopters. Disconnect the pipe from the bilge, because it might be that if the pipe is frozen, maybe it can't do its job. How much thread is on here? Right. Right. So yeah, you can just about see some of that. If I actually, where does this then go to? Tie wrap there. So what we need is some snips. Take that tie wrap, or zip tie as it is called overseas, off. Put one back later. So what have we got? That is all sealed, so we don't want to mess with that. It's these connections here. So, bilge pump. I'm all out of sorts. I'd hoped to come down here and give you an update on where we are with work, and I was going to have a look at doing another light, ceiling light, and look at the wiring in general, but change of plan. Let's focus on getting a bilge working, which should be straightforward. Multimeter. So I don't know whether I should have a continuity, but we'll see what we get. And of course I need to know what the wiring is for those three. Yeah, one's manual, one's auto, one's earth. Now, if we've got earth on this side, live over here, turn that on, I would expect, oh, it showed live, didn't it? So it's pumping. And what about that? No, I don't want to do that. I want black on earth and that. Well, that's positive. So why isn't that pump pumping? So actually, if I bypass that switch for the moment and just get the thing pumping, I can then worry about doing it properly. That's what I'm going to do. Right, you didn't need to see me embarrassingly flapping. So what I've just done is wired up a temporary pair, because I just want to get the pump going before batteries get shorted or anything drastic like that. So that's live. That's off. Let's get that onto earth. Need to see if we can get this thing. Is that the? No, that's not it. More speed, less haste, boy. Let's put some shielding on some of these bare wires a minute. Yeah. See if I can turn you on, get you pumping. It's making the right noises. Lost that in the water. Down there, and that. It's going out. Excellent. I can now officially relax and enjoy the view and actually have a coffee. Well, that's not what I had in mind this afternoon. Not what I had in mind. That will probably run for an hour, and it's more than welcome to run for an hour. I didn't need that. So I was umming and ahhing whether to come out today and think, well, I could leave it another week, but it was just going to rain constantly. And I know the boat leaks like a sieve still. Yeah. Obviously, I'll need to start looking at, was it the bilge pump, was it the wiring, was it the switch? Don't know yet. That's obviously, I'm not going to be doing much else today by the looks of things, apart from getting that emptied out and then finding the root cause. So I always talk about where we are career-wise. I normally do that first, but needs must. So we are at a point where I have got a date. It is the 15th of January. I will finish my job. And I was looking at this thing a few days ago, and there was a quote from somewhere saying, it will be time to finish my job and start my work. And I kind of like that, because my job has been in IT for 40 years, or nearly 40 years. But my work, what gives me joy, just make sure I didn't lose my car keys and all that. What gives me joy is, would you believe, playing on the boat? Not that that was particularly joyful. What do I see in my work? My work is researching, reading, studying languages, literature. I love the Third Republic, the French Third Republic, run from 1871 to 1940, I think, thereabouts. And I love the literature of that era. I'm reading Proust at the moment, and Huysmans Le Bas, which is a French degenerate novel, and obviously Proust is a 6 or 7 volume marathon, which I try to do 10 pages a day. So I love my languages and literature, the French language, so I can get back properly studying French and learning French, as well as smatterings of Italian, German, Latin. And I also love music. I want to start playing my guitar again, playing the keyboard again, which I barely picked up for years. Get going with that again. Learning carpentry. That's a fairly new thing over the past only a couple of years, having got this wooden boat, and I find carpentry so therapeutic, relaxing. I want to learn proper cabinet making to redo all of this boat. And I love boats, of course. I had my first boat when I was a kid, 12 years old or thereabouts. And off and on since then, I always loved playing with water, being on the river, in the sea, thereabouts. So I'm now going to be in 56 calendar days, 26 work days. I will be free to do my thing, be financially solvent, and be free to do that. And slurp. And even though I've been back at work for the past 2 weeks, of course, I'm no longer important. I am on the way out. People know I'm on the way out. I've made the announcements. I'm going. And so I'm getting increasingly cut out of meetings, decision-making authority, all of this. And it's slightly weird, slightly unnerving, but also very, very pleased that that's happening. Because the guys that I'm leaving behind, they're good. They are good guys. I miss them. But I'll be gone a year later. Who? John? Oh yeah, John. Hopefully take a few friends with me. One friend in particular, he knows who he is. He's an angel. Men can be angels too. So yeah, I just feel increasingly this weight off my shoulders. This weight of being the main breadwinner, of the stress of being the head of the department. God knows what toll it was taking on me health-wise these past 10 years or whatever. But the relief I'm feeling is amazing. Long may it last. So, yeah, that's where we are, work. Middle of January, I'm gone. Middle of the winter, but when you're retired, the middle of the winter is another season. It's all right. There's books, there's music, there's moonlight, there's dance. Something like that. Right, enough rambling. Let's have a look at why the actual switch why the pump wasn't working in the first place. I've just turned the pump off. It was getting, it was nearly finished at the aft. I'm just having a look under here. You can see that that's sort of cleared that white piece of wood. So what I wanted to see is, was that a leak or was that a pipe at the bow under here? So if I lift that, not the easiest job in the world doing all of this. All right, I've only got 2 hands. Whew. So what does that look like down there? Spurging through. Oh, there's a hole there. Yes, so the bilge at the front down there is lower. This is raised piece, so it comes under there and up. So as the bilge empties, it goes down the hole. So yeah, the water goes down there. There's a little bit left there, but so be it. Now if we look at the aft, you can see that was high. See how clear that is and how much lower the water is now. Ouch. That's uncomfortable. So obviously there's my lash up just to get a permanent feed down to the pump. And I've just stripped the wires here, and I'm going to start next just doing some continuity testing. and see if I can get the switch wired back in, trying to find out what went wrong. I've got that all wired back in, earthed in, and I've wired in the other end there. I've got it on auto and it whirred away for about 10 seconds. So if I now push the pump down into the water, it should, but it isn't. Why? Well, how do we end the day? I'm running out of light and it's getting cold. I've got it all back together. I've got power to it and I've got earth. But now I haven't heard it run for a while. And obviously all the water's pumped out, so there's nothing for it to switch. But the manual isn't manually going. So it's on manual here. Put it to auto. It doesn't want to auto go, which tells me it's earth now. So I'm going to have to come back tomorrow or Sunday. We'll be having rain tomorrow, so maybe I'll come back on Sunday to see whether it's gone. At least this time round I'll be able to there'll be less water in the boat, I would expect, so I can test it and use it. As I say, I know I've got power there. If it doesn't work now, it's got to be earth, but I can't see how. But that's another day. See you later.